Hey, shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Kodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which will be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. Hey, shalom, beloved Akim and Akwaf. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just want to get into a very brief live stream, just reporting on what happened over there in the Caribbean with this U.S. Navy destroyer and one of their supply ships. You know, they ended up colliding or what have you. And, I mean, we got some videos, you know, regarding the tails of the tape. And, you know, this shows a lot, man. Like, you know, you already know Akiyam and Akwa. You already know we tapping into Esau's counsel, Esau's wits, his wisdom. With there ain't none of it there no more. All right, Esau's moving very sloppy. He's not calculated. You know, he's moving in a haste. You know, and the way the Lord positioned him, he's pretty much in a position where he's going against the grain. All right, Esau's in a position where he's going against the course of the river. You know, and everything is pretty much falling apart for this guy. All right, we're literally witnessing it. There was this one article that came out some time ago, maybe roughly probably about a year and some change ago. But old boy, speaking to the Navy, right? They were doing like drills with the rifle or what have you, dealing with the scope. And homie had the scope on backwards, man. And he had the picture. I'm sure you Aki Aminakwa probably remember that. Homie had there was a picture of him. Homie had the rifle, looking through the scope. The scope was backwards, bro. All right, Esau's losing it. You see, he's losing it, man. And we're witnessing it. And it's the Lord ultimately doing it to him. All right, because Esau has a mindset, all right, that he is God. He thinks he's smarter than his creator. All right, but no, what's the Lord doing to him? Let's go ahead real quick before we get with the first clip. I got two quick clips, real short. Just pretty much shedding light on the reality of Esau. You know, he's slipping. These are all telltale signs of a fallen empire, man. All right, because we know his military likened unto his iron teeth in the scriptures, man. All right, that right there, those are the steps of his strength. As a matter of fact, let me get that record. I think that's Job. Bear with me. Let me get this real quick. The book of Job, chapter 18 and verse 7. And it reads this, right? Talking to the wicked, right? The steps of his strength shall be straightened, bro. And his own counsel shall cast him down, man. Okay, so this man's whole situation is pretty much being flipped upside down on him. Okay, and it's the Lord, where through the Lord's wisdom is how this is being executed, man. Because you're going to notice in one of these videos, this Edomite's like, oh, this is not supposed to happen. Says who? All right, says who? Let's go ahead real quick. Let's go to Isaiah. Chapter 44 and verse 24, it reads this. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, thy Redeemer, and he that formed thee from the womb. I am the Lord Yahweh that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heaven alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by myself. This is the power that we serve. All right? Look at that frustrated the tokens of the liars, bro. Okay, who are the liars? Edomites, bro. Esau, he's the liar. Right, but the Lord said what? He frustrated the tokens of the liars, man. And maketh diviners mad. That turneth wise men backward. And maketh their knowledge foolish, man. Esau looking real foolish right about now, man. All right? Looking real shameful. You see? You know, on the world stage, these other nations are looking at this dude like, damn. Imagine what these other nations are thinking. Because we're not, hey, we don't got no breaking news with a Russian destroyer colliding with its supply ship. Right? Now, granted, they're Edomites too, but the Lord's going to use them to sweep the West. All right? And ultimately sweep them as well. But needless to say, let's go ahead. I was just using them as an example, but needless to say, let's get this real quick. This is fair use. So I'm not making any monetary gain off of this news clip. All right, it's for educational purposes only. All right, fair use.
The images coming in, dramatic video showing the collision of two U.S. Navy ships, a destroyer and another ship. There's also late word coming in tonight. A fighter jet was scrambled while President Trump was at Fort Bragg today. A plane intercepted what had them so concerned. But first, hear this collision, and here's Martha Raddatz now.
Tonight, images of two U.S. Navy ships colliding in the Caribbean. Videos appearing to be taped by crew members and circulated on social media, capturing the destroyer USS Truxtun and a military supply ship slam into each other during a replenishment operation Wednesday afternoon. A horn blaring as the destroyer approaches the supply ship, crashing into its side. Officials now assessing whether the vessels are able to proceed with their deployment in the Caribbean, where they are part of the massive U.S. buildup to go after drug cartels. The images emerging as the Marines announced the death of 21-year-old Lance Corporal Chukwemeka Ofora of Florida, also deployed in the Caribbean, who fell overboard the USS Iwo Jima and was declared lost at sea after a days-long search. And David, to that late-breaking news.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was at the end of that. Yeah, man, that's why when you go serve the enemy, you would never had your ass over there. You would be out here. You would be good. But anyways, yeah, man, you see Esau. You see him crumbling. All right, now I got this other clip where the old boy used to be part of the Air Force. Let me see something real quick. And according to him, this is not supposed to happen. Check this out.
News that we are following as information, a bit of information is coming in from U.S. Southern Command at this point and Fox News. Jennifer Griffin there at Fox News did get this information from U.S. Southern Command. What we know so far is that two U.S. Navy sailors were injured Wednesday after a U.S. Navy destroyer and a supply ship collided there in the Caribbean. Now, the U.S. Southern Command essentially putting out a statement to Jennifer that said, quote, yesterday afternoon, the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer and the supply-class fast combat support ship collided during a replenishment at sea. Two personnel reported minor injuries and are in stable condition. Both ships have reported sailing safely. The incident is currently under investigation. Now, there is a lot to discuss here on that and another topic, but I want to bring in Matthew Wiz Buckley, retired Navy FA-18 fighter pilot, Top Gun grad, and founder of No Fallen Heroes Foundation to talk about, as I mentioned, a variety of different topics. First off, though, Wiz, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Good morning, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And first off, I want to ask you about this collision here. Of course, you are a retired Navy FA-18 fighter pilot. Explain to me your thoughts as you start to see the information kind of slowly coming in.
Josh, I've been involved in an incident like this years ago when I was an F-18 pilot operating off the Abraham Lincoln I actually slept through it, but that's another story. The USS Abraham Lincoln collided with our supply ship, the Sacramento. We were doing refueling, resupply, just like these two boats were doing. The Sacramento had a steering casualty, and they didn't report it. So as the two ships started to drift apart, the commanding officer Lincoln said, "Hey, they're drifting away from us. Let's turn into them." And around that same time, the Sacramento regained their steering, which was put them back into the Lincoln, and we hit each other, damaged the ship significantly in airplanes. So let me lead with this. This isn't supposed to happen. Two big ships like this are not supposed to meet. So I wonder if something happened along the lines of the Lincoln and the Sacramento that I experienced, some sort of steering casualty, because this is pretty tough to do. There are a lot of safeguards and procedures, and we practice this and all sorts of stuff. So at the end of the day, two big boats aren't supposed to collide like this. So maybe there was some mechanical steering issue, just like we saw in the Lincoln and the Sacramento.
Yeah, and of course, we're going to...
No, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai was there with the angels frustrating your plans, was what was happening. You heard him? And not Edomite, man. Esau. This is not supposed to happen. Watch this. When you go to you see that? Esau in his carnal mind, bro. Hey, see, they don't fear the Lord. They don't have any reverence of the Lord. They don't even consider that the Lord's in the midst. You know? You will never hear Edomite talking about Lord willing. Because they think they control their own destiny. Right? Here's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, in verse 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things, bro. And it's nothing for the Lord to dispatch some angels, okay, to create a scenario, man. And you heard when he was on the Abraham Lincoln, he said they lost, I guess there was a steering casualty with the supplier ship, right? And then they started drifting, and then they turned into them. They got their steering back. They turned back into them, and they collided. Esau's been losing it for a while now. But the Lord's been visiting for a while. I should say it like that. The Lord's been visiting Esau for a minute now. Right? Because again, according to this dude, this is not supposed to happen. But it's happening because the Lord's making it happen. This is the Lord's movie. You see? The Lord got Esau falling headlong, man. Let's go ahead real quick. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 7, and it reads concerning Edom, and as a matter of fact, let's get this in the Good News Bible, right? Jeremiah 49 in verse 8 or 7, and it reads this. Oh, the heading reads, the Lord's judgment on Edom. And for those of you that don't know out there, Esau, Edom, all right, is a self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child. All right, that's their biblical identity. That's their true nationality. They're Edomites, all right? And there's going to be Edomites, there's going to be so-called white people that look like, that actually Jake, believe it or not, just to throw that out there, all right? Just to, qualify that. There's Jake that are going to look like Esau because we've been scattered into all nations. But the spirit will be very revealing regarding that individual being a Jake that looks like an Edomite. But anyways, the heading reads, the Lord's judgment on Edom. Okay, check this out. Verse 7, Jeremiah 49 and 7, and reads this. This is what the Lord Yahweh Almighty said about Edom. Have the people of Edom lost their good judgment? Can their advisors no longer tell them what to do? Has all their wisdom disappeared, bro? Okay, so part of the Lord's judgment on Edom, part of the visitation he's going to bring upon him, he's going to strip him of the wisdom, that little bit of wisdom that he got. You see? See, Esau's been able to tap into the periodic table and, erect these labs and be able to do all types of, deep out of this world shit. You know what I mean? That we're not even aware of, man, the things that Esau's getting into. Unbeknownst to him, it's of the Lord. He has access to this information through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So now the Lord's stripping him of wits, of wisdom. You know, because we know Esau's a war tactician, you know, a cunning hunter, living by the sword. When they see, we're talking to his military right now as far as that U.S. that battleship and that supply ship. This is all part of his military right there, man. That Esau's supposed to have that on lock. You know, that's supposed to be a calculated system. As old boy said, you heard him. This is not supposed to happen. That's Y and Z. Yeah, and your peanut brain, it's not supposed to happen. But now the Lord's on your ass now. You see, the Lord's searching Esau out now. Okay? And the Lord's setting up scenarios, man. The Lord's setting Esau up. It's not working out the way Esau's planning it. You know? The Lord's got this dude's number, man. And it's beautiful to see. You know, it's beautiful to see, man. The Lord is literally confounding this guy. Okay? He's confounding him, bro. In the what's that? In the full, I'm not gonna get it. In the fullness of his sufficiency, right? He should be in straits. The Lord got Esau in a position of difficulty, man. Right where he is in a position where he's about to, you know, because you know he's on his way out there to. The Lord's just throwing stumbling blocks at him. You know, unbeknownst to him, it's of the Lord. You know, so yeah, beloved Akim and Akwad. Hey, Lord willing, you were edified through the Spirit. Abaratazah, you were spiritually fed. And you already know, man. Scriptures say, "Be not ignorant of any matter, small or great." You know, and we gotta you know, we're watching Esau with a magnifying glass, man. You know, Esau's on the move. You see, but so was Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right, and unbeknownst to the world, this empire, all right, that was once magnificent, you know, in the eyes of other nations, is now being looked at as a shameful place, bro. You know, it's being looked at as a place where there's no morale. All right. It's being looked at as a place that pretty much, you know, it doesn't have any order established within it. You know, these other nations, you know, that covering cast, that veil is being lifted off the face of the people, as Scripture says it would, Isaiah 25. You know, and everyone's looking at Esau like, yo, this nigga's not all that. He truly isn't. You know, you're not as smart as you think you are. You're not as cool as you think you are. That whole Johnny Bravo, you know what I mean? That's out the window, man. All right. Now when Edomite is gazed upon, the first thought somebody is Epstein Island, man. You know what I mean? This is because they're the face of that profanity. But you know, at the end of the day, man, it's all theater. You already know, beloved Akim and Akwa. This is a big movie, right? And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is the one directing it. All right, so yeah, man, Esau's finished, bro. You know, we're clearly seeing him fumble. Okay, he's fumbling every time. You know, but yeah, man, hey, Lord willing, you know, you beloved Akim and Akwath will edify Abaratazah. You were spiritually fed through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And with that, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rachah Kodash. A double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Hey, till next time, beloved Akim and Akwa. Till next time,